So we just had a look at the file creation and the one-form audit memo. Looking at my document manager, that means we've gone through the client acceptance, the overall audit strategy, and let's have a look at the materiality now. Now, before we can go into materiality, we need some financial data. Now, and if I show you the trial balance, you can see it's completely empty. So the first thing we need to do is import a trial balance. And to do so, I'm just going to go to File, Import, and here you see all the different import options that we offer in Working Papers. So this is where you can pick any of the dedicated imports that will just import the financial data from a package that you might be using. If there's a package that's really important in your market and you don't see it in the list, please get in touch with us and then we can see if we can add that to this list of imports. You will also see the XBRL import, audit file XML, which is Dutch, audit file XML for Portugal, ASCII text files, but now I'm just going to use the Excel import, which I think is probably the most commonly used import because, well, all of you know Microsoft Excel and probably work with it on a daily basis. Okay, so this opens up the import wizard. Here I can decide if I want to import either my trial balance, which is chart of accounts and general ledger details, or if I want to import my full general ledger details, or if I wanted to import only some adjusting journal entries. That's a new feature for Working Papers 2014. Now here in this next box, I have to link to the Excel sheet that I want to import. So I'm just clicking my browse. It takes me to my folder with all my example trial balances, and I'm just picking my Audit 15 not all mapped trial balance. I'm picking my yearly as my date sequence, and then I can just click next. Now the next step in this wizard will give me a preview of the Excel sheet that I'm importing. Usually you get some header data at the top. If you do have that, you can just exclude those accounts from being imported, but just ticking these little boxes. For people that are viewing that have a national chart of accounts, you might want to use this one. This option automatically marks subtotals as do not import. So if you have a national chart of accounts, usually those trial balances have subtotals built in, and this option will actually mark those as these subtotals don't have to be imported. Okay, well, this is just a preview of my Excel file. If that is all fine, I'm just clicking next, which takes me to this screen, which is probably the most important one. So in this step, I have to assign which column of my Excel file will be imported into which field of my Casewell Working Papers database. So the first column clearly is the account number. So the only thing I need to do is click on the header, go to account details, and just define that it's the account number. Then I get some more additional, some more advanced options here. Usually you can just skip those unless you really have a very special situation. Then the next column is my account description. So I'm just clicking on the header again, go to account details and choose my account description. As easy as that. Then in this example, I have three columns with financial data, which are my current year balance, my prior year, and my prior year 2. And I can import all of those three at one time. So again, I'm clicking the header, going to my balances, and I just pick my current year balance. I can either do my opening balance or my period 1. For now, I'm just going to do my opening balance. And I'm going to do the same with my prior year balance. And also with my prior year 2 balance. Okay. Now, you might have noticed this. If you have a trial balance that has two different columns for the debit and the credit amount, you can use this option. And then you can just specify which of those two columns is the debit amount and which one is the credit amount. Now, just for demo purposes, I'm going to also import this column, which is actually my mapping. And the reason why I'm doing that is just so I can show you a completed trial balance later on. So you don't have to worry about that. Usually you don't need that at all. So I'm just clicking next. Again, I get some more advanced options. I don't need those at this point in time, so I'm just gonna click next. This one might be very interesting. If you have many trial balances that come from the same package, you could save the settings that I just made, and then if another user imports a trial balance from the same package, you can just reuse those settings. So some of your users probably are not so computer literate, or they might find that even though we try to make it as friendly as possible, but they still might find that step a little bit hard to assign the columns. Then you can save that as a record layout file, and another user can just pick that file and he doesn't have to go through that step. So I'm just going to skip it for now, but that's from a usability point of view, I think that's a great feature. Okay, so that was really quick. I've imported my trial balance, and as you can see, that shows up in my trial balance here. So the first column is my account number. Then I have the name, the mapping number, the type, lead sheet, the opening balance. This column will not be used, but it would show the transactions. So I can just do a right click and hide that column. This column would show me all the adjustments, all the actual journal entries that I've entered in my file, and that gives me then my final balance for the year 2013. And I've imported 3 years, so I also get my 2012 balances and my 2011 balances. Now the term opening balance is always a bit confusing. In my example here, I would use this as the preliminary amount. This is the trial balance at the end of the year, how I received it from my client. So so that depends. If you actually import transactions, then you would want the opening balance to be the opening balance as of the first of the financial year. Now this column type is interesting. Usually, well, all the accounts are imported with a default type, which is income statement. But you can clearly see these are balance sheet accounts. So in order to fix that, I need to do the next step, which is the mapping. And if you've seen the introduction, the mapping is a way how we can standardize the trial balance. And well, let me show you and then explain while I'm doing that. So I have to go to account, assign mapping numbers, and this is the mapping dialog. So what I see at the left hand of the screen here are all the accounts that are unmapped. So it's only a small selection because I cheated for this demo. On the right hand side, I see the mapping numbers which are part of this file. And it shows me the highest level, which is balance sheet income statement. Just by double clicking, I can now drill down. So I'm going to assets, current assets, and then inventory. Yeah, so I got some inventory accounts there. I can open that up, and that would show me my actual detailed mappings here, which are my different categories of inventories. So you can see there's a very clear hierarchy in these mappings. They're built up to be have all these aggregation levels of your balance sheet. If you're using this template in a country, there's a big chance that we have already created a localized mapping schedule for you. So what I'm showing here is the international mapping schedule. In your template that might be different, but I think the process is the same. Now in order to map my accounts, the only thing I need to do is pick up my account, so that's 601, and drag and drop that over here to the mapping. And then, as we say, the account is mapped. So now my account 601 is linked to this mapping 112.10.100.10, which is my raw materials and components. I can do that line by line, account by account. I can also pick up multiple accounts and just drag and drop that over like that. Let me do the same for my work in progress and my manufactured goods. Now I'm still working. I'm doing my mapping. When I want to get an update or see the roll-ups, the totals for my group raw materials, the only thing I need to do is click this apply button, Say yes. It quickly updates, and now I can see that my raw materials are a total of 48,000. The total inventory is 156,000. So this, while I'm doing this mapping process, that right away gives me a good impression of the financials for this particular client. Okay, so I'm just gonna quickly map this one. Okay, that one can go there. Then go over to my trade receivables, which is oh yeah, sorry, I need to go to my current assets, trade receivables, and this is also to show you another way how you can do your mapping. I can select all my accounts here. I can select my mapping there and just click this map option, and then it just goes there. Well, I think I need to. Oh, and also it's very flexible. So these accounts should actually go into my impairment. I can just pick it up and drag and drop that into this other mapping. Okay, I got one final one to do, which is my net income, which should go here to my distributable reserves, and then I'm done. Just gonna click OK, and now all my accounts are mapped. And what you can see here in the working trial balance is that just by linking these accounts to the mapping, the accounts now also have the right type. They're all balance sheet accounts, and they're also linked to a lead sheet group. So I don't want to go into too much technical details here, but in the mapping schedule, we have defined whether or not this mapping is a balance sheet mapping, and we linked the mappings to the lead sheets. So as a user, the only thing you have to do is link the account to the mapping, and with that, all these properties, all these additional properties for the accounts are assigned. You don't have to worry about it. Okay, maybe to just quickly show you the end result of that mapping. If I, for instance, go here to a trial balance, which is grouped by lead sheet, and I open it, you can right away see that it shows me all my accounts nicely grouped, nicely classified to the mapping or lead sheet codes that which I just showed you. So this already makes your trial balance a whole lot more workable, already gives you a good impression of the financial status of your client. Okay, so we'll get back to, we call those automatic documents. We will have a look at the lead sheets later on. Right now, let's move on to the materiality calculation.